Welcome back to Let's Not Sugarcoat It. Season 3 is here and we're excited to dive into the core of communication, relationships, and leadership.
We're your hosts, Bella and Lee, a husband and wife duo with a successful business helping couples and organizations get it together to play a bigger game and elevate their relationships and performance.
We believe in keeping it real, so each week we'll bring you incredible guests, entrepreneurs sharing their authentic experiences, along with episodes featuring just the two of us tackling the tough topics.
So, if you're ready to enhance your connections and sharpen your leadership skills, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Yeah, the communication is so important, right? Like our language does very much create like our reality in a lot of ways, and applies that meaning making to our experiences. It's why two people can experience the same thing, it like a physical thing in the world, yet how they interpret it, the trauma that happens, whether it's like a big T, small t, or nothing at all, can very much be different depending on that language that occurs inside. I'm curious, what kind of conversations are important for people to have with themselves? Because I think we hear a lot about positive affirmations and how, some people are very like they work, and I think a lot of people think they don't work. I think there's something obviously about the way that you talk to yourself about yourself that's very important. And then in that question is also a sub-question, which is, does what you're doing when you're talking to yourself play a role? So, for example, walking out in nature or exercising in a gym or just, doing nothing. I think a lot of the times people feel like they need to be in this perfect, reflective monk state or environment in order to have these kind of powerful conversations. And so I'm curious if the environment and what you're doing also plays a big role.
I mean, it can expand on, because when we look at things from the quantified field, our quantified field's 25 feet outside of us. So people enter our energy field, and it's just being more quantified than the density of what we are, right? Of atoms. So if you're on a mountaintop, if you're by the beach, you're getting more negative ions, which are healthy for us, right? Positive or bad. There's actually been studies where they've shown that individuals who are grieving are actually emitting positive ions. So they're actually literally causing, essentially vibratory pattern decrease in those around them. And so it's like vibes are real. It's like people can really actually bring you down with the oscillating atom. So if you think about that in one way, and then when we look at what, the Schumann frequency or the frequency of the earth, so that's a hertz. So it's like, yes, that's optimizing you and assisting you also. But when it comes to just the dialogues with yourself and that self-talk, and if it's not in a perfect world where you can be out by the beach where the trees are and the birds are singing and everything's amazing, it is that we don't want to shame ourselves or blame ourselves. Shame is what keeps us very stuck in things, right? And so if those dialogues with ourselves, it can't be that toxic positivity, spiritual bypassing kind of thing either, of like, oh, well, I love that guy and it's okay and he can treat me that way because that's just about him and everything's fine. It's like that's completely bypassing the feelings that you have. It's not being like, man, I shouldn't have trusted that guy again. That's my fault. I'm just stupid for always trusting people. That's shaming, blaming, right? So instead it's going, man, when that person did that to me, that really hurt me and made me feel not good about myself. It made me feel not smart. It's just not true that I am doing the best that I can. And so it's just a little shift within that dialogue. So just a good rule of thumb is to not be shaming, blaming yourself, and then allowing for yourself to have those feelings and then accessing where you feel them in your body. It's really that quick and that powerful. They've found that in energy psychology that when we imagine an area on our body, just like, or even look at that area, that the energy, then the feedback. So if I look at my foot, that area in my brain is going to light up quicker than if someone actually touched it or put a needle there, like from acupuncture or something. So it's really interesting how quick our brain is with things and releasing energy and shifting energy. So it's very important when I'm like, oh, that guy made me feel stupid. It's like, where do I feel that? It's like, just even because I'm very body aware, it's like I just felt like this thing across my clavicle here of like feeling stupid. And then being like, well, that's just not true. I'm smart. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm intelligent in my own way. And it's unfortunate that he felt that way about me. And it's unfortunate he did that, that kind of thing. It can't be this just completely like, that guy's a da 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 da, and then not processing those emotions in the moment and having that dialogue, or the shaming, blaming on yourself. It's just that balance of allowing for releasing and fully processing that experience. And it's like, I'm very good at, like, my friend Tanisha's a therapist also. So we're just constantly, we just go back and forth like, man, it really made me feel this way when this happened. And this is, we just like can intellectualize that and then allow for those feelings and then accessing and going back and forth.
Yeah. That's so interesting. When you're talking about like the disassociation and I mean all the stuff around energy and all of that, I think it's easy for people to be listening to this and really think, well, I don't have PTSD or I don't deal with, high levels of anxiety. And so the work that you do is for those people. It's not for me. Because I'm not there. What would you say to those people that are listening right now as far as the importance of this type of work, even for them?
I would say that when it comes to the number one thing, are you sleeping 8 or 9 hours a night, and are you dreaming? If you aren't either of those things, your nervous system is dysregulated and you are not fully detoxing the brain at night, restoring all of your neurochemicals, rebuilding, and you are dying quicker, and you will eventually get some type of dis-ease, whether it be dementia, heart disease. That's just all there is to it. We cannot trick, like I was talking earlier, the
Yeah.
physiology. We need 8 to 9 hours, and if we're not dreaming, dreaming is dropping down into the theta brainwave. And so if we're not dreaming, and that's one of the bigger things when I start working with people, they start dreaming again. They're like, oh my gosh, I haven't dreamed for years. I'm like, yeah, dreaming is really important. And even Freud back in the day talked about dreaming as when we were going back through our emotions and fully processing them from the day. That's why they're like kind of erratic and all over the place. But dreaming is very, very important. That REM sleep's very important for the human growth hormone, brain-derived human growth hormone, the neuronal sheath around the brain or around the neurons, as well as that NRF2 detox pathway. So we're either like pushing towards cancer disease or towards the fountain of youth. So we know at 5 hours of sleep or less, you have permanent brain issues, damage. 5 hours or less. We know it takes 3 days to recover from 7 hours of sleep. Sleep is so important with detoxification and decreasing neuroinflammation and keeping that microglial from overpriming. It is that important. And so, it's no one can, and I know I kind of went on a tangent here, but no one can convince me like, I only need 4 hours of sleep a night. Not true. You're pushing to dementia. And on the brain scans, we can see, like issues within the brain and the voltage and the neural communication 10 years prior to someone having symptoms. So yeah, you can tell me these things all day, but it's just not true. You
Yeah.
cannot be this cellular anomaly.
Yeah.
You're
I have a
not.
question. Is it okay, in your professional opinion, to be listening to something while you're sleeping? Or should we be sleeping in silence to give our brain some.
Sleeping in silence is going to be best. When you're describing to me that you need something to distract you, that's a trauma response. That's like people that have to have a constant noise around because it distracts you from the calm of potentially going down some of those pathways. So it's actually like a PTSD trauma response when we think about people that have to have outside noises. So it's interesting too when you're going to fall asleep, if you have rumination and your nervous system gets activated, that's a huge indicator that there's just still some unresolved things there. And it may not be the thing that you start to ruminate on and go into. Because what happens is we start to attach to current things if there's past things that have not been fully deactivated or in that network. So people will be laying in bed being like, oh man, okay, we're going to taking the family to this family trip. We got to get on the airplane at this time. We got to do this. And that's what they're ruminating on, even though they know how to get to the airport. They know everything's going to be okay. They know they're going to wake up. But that's just kind of how our mind works, is that we focus on this current thing outside of the past thing. And you see it with relationships. It's like, well, he said he was going to stop eating such and such, and when we went out to dinner, he ate that, and I just can't do this. It's like, okay, so that creates some lack of safety in your mind that he's not doing what he said he's doing. He could die from eating bad food. Okay, I get that, but what's really under that? It's like, oh, because mom and dad always let me down because there's no predictability and we never had food as a kid, da da da. You know what I mean? Like there's something under that that's, we're focused, hyper focused on this thing of this evidence of this thing that we have to worry about. So that's would be my opinion. But you have the sounds, and there's another kind of process, like if you feel comfortable of just like literally listening to the sounds and talking to your husband, because I know that you guys have done a ton of work, and just like going back through experiences of things that didn't serve you as a child with him potentially. As wonderful as our parents are, there's still going to be those little things that we could go through and like, yeah, when he did this to me, that kind of hurt my feelings. Yeah, then when he did this. And what happens to you when you drop in with those sounds is you remember, like I said, even without manipulating the eyes, memories that you didn't remember. So you come out of the disassociation with things. But to just kind of try that to see if you can keep bringing your nervous system down a little.
Okay.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights to elevate your life and business.
If you found value in our conversation, spread the love. Share this episode with family and friends, and let's grow this supportive community together.
And don't forget to like and follow us so we can reach more amazing people just like you.
Until next time, remember, let's not sugarcoat it. Keep it real, raw, and unfiltered.